Welcome to DevGram. So once you have created a project on DevGram, the next step is to create a task template. Task templates are created inside a project to organize batches of work. You can create a new task template by clicking on the task tab on top and selecting the new task option in the drop-down menu. Once you click on that, you'll be taken here. The first step is to name the task template. In this project, we are planning to do image annotation as well as text annotation. So let's create a task template for image annotation. So first, let's name it image annotation task. Clicking on next, you can select the labels that you want to use in this task template. You can see that the labels that have been already created while we made the project are selected by default. But for this image annotation task template, we only need two labels, that is cars and people. And then we can hit on next. The next step is to invite team members into this task template. By default, you can select everyone that you have selected in this particular project, or you can select a subset of your team members in this project. So by selecting specific labels and also members that are already in the project, a lot of repetitive work is being avoided. The next step is to create a review in your workflow. So if you want your annotated files to be reviewed again, you could actually click on yes, and you could mention the team members who would be responsible for reviewing these tasks. Also, you could select the percent of tasks that have to be reviewed. If you want every task to be reviewed, you can click here, or else you can select what percent of tasks have to be reviewed. For this example, let's go with no itself and click on next. Here you can upload fresh files to your datasets. Since we have already created and uploaded datasets when we created the sample project, we will go ahead and click on next. Here you can map the flow of your data in this task template. So you can select from which dataset the raw data has to be used for this task template. So we have already created a dataset in this project known as image annotation. So as you can see on the right side, the image annotation dataset is mapped to this task template. You could also create a new dataset over here itself. And after the annotation is done, you could also select where the files have to be moved to which dataset. When we created the sample project, we had already created a dataset known as finished work, and so we'll be selecting that. So you can see the workflow over here. The raw data from image annotation dataset will be used for this task template, and the finished work will be moved to finished work dataset. The key point to remember over here is that when fresh data is uploaded to image annotation dataset, new tasks will be automatically created and assigned to your team members. Now clicking on next, you will be taken to white label customization. This is where you can customize the annotation UI for your annotators. In this example, we will actually go with DevGram's default UI. Clicking on next, you could also create guides for your annotators on instructions of how to do the work. So if you have already created a Guide, you can actually select it from this drop down or you can create a new guide. This will be covered in detail in another video. Now let's click on next. The next step is for advanced options. In Diffgram, it is mostly user scripts. This will be covered in detail in another video. On hitting next, you can also select the credentials for annotators to do this task. So in Diffgram, we have an idea of exams wherein certain annotators have to have a level of expertise to do a particular task that can be created over here. We will be explaining this in much detail in another video. Before we launch the task template, creating a credential, doing advanced options, creating a guide, or even uploading fresh data is all optional. You can first create the dataset and then do all this at a later stage. So once you're done with this, you can hit on this launch task template button and the task is created. So image annotation task is what we have created now. As you can see, this here is the list of the other task templates that we have created. I hope this video was useful. Thanks a lot for watching.